Hey guys, this is Sam with South Hills Lincoln. I'm sitting here today in a 2019 Range Rover HSE because the first time I took a glance at our used inventory, I noticed that most of it is Lincolns. And that led me to wonder if most of our used inventory is Lincolns, then the off-brand remainder must consist of some pretty rare finds. As it turns out, I was right. Here at South Hills Lincoln, we have this habit of taking in used vehicles with very unusual year, mileage, and trim combinations. And in these videos, we like to go over the ones that really stand out. What's fun about this that you won't see in some video by Land Rover Lenny at Jim Johnson Jaguar is the fact that I sell Lincolns, so I know way more about Lincolns than any other make. It's always fascinating to examine the unfamiliar, see what other brands have to offer, and more importantly, share it with an audience. So from here, we're gonna do a first impression of the interior, take this thing for a test drive, see how it goes on the road, and every vehicle has a story, so we're gonna talk about what makes this exact vehicle special. All right, so boom, first thing that stands out is the button shape, the button configurations on the sides of the steering wheel. This is a really odd shape, and I've never seen it before. Also, I like the I mean, everyone has their logo on their steering wheel, but this is a really pretty design. This combination of almond and espresso. Also, yeah, it's really power adjustable, just like a Lincoln. But the shapes and the colors and the designs of the buttons is so striking. Same thing with how the handle, just to open the door, where it's located and how it's shaped. And you could say the same exact thing with the window switches. What else is really cool is that you can actually change the angle of this screen. This vehicle has two screens in the front, and the first one has an angle that you can actually change. Let me flatten that out for you guys. So obviously there's navigation, there's media, you can connect your phone, and what else is really cool is just how well they branded just the appearances of what you see on the screen. Just like the color combinations, this picture of what looks like perforated leather, where they put the different icons. When you pay for a luxury vehicle like the Range Rover, this is just a piece of what you're paying for. You can check the rear view camera. Obviously it snowed 2 inches in Pittsburgh last night. I may save the test drive for another day when it isn't as snowy outside. And then there's auto terrain response, which goes onto this screen. But like, this is a really strange looking color. And like this little animation of these people sitting, even the way that the people look, nothing against them, I'm not judging them. They're beautiful people. But you can go to the front, you can change the rear climate, you can turn it on, you can lock it, you can sync, of course, if you and your spouse or passenger are having a sword fight over what temperature the vehicle is on the inside. And what else is interesting, of course, this is the wheel that changes whether it's hot or cold, but you have to push it. It even tells you push for seats to decide how hot the heated seats are. And then you go back. This is British engineering at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. Range Rover, here's what they did. They have a wheel. And I've seen this before on other makes, but like the 360 camera you'll get the 360 camera and the rear camera you're gonna get from this screen. And it also takes the mirrors on the side, it takes those down. Kinesthetically speaking, the one thing that stands out by far more than anything about this vehicle is the size. I'm 6'1". The ergonomics in this vehicle are so impressive. And I was always impressed by just the design of Range Rovers. My dad had one when I was little. I don't remember if it was one of these or a Sport or Invoke, but it was cool, I'll tell you that. Let's see how much headroom and legroom we're talking in the back. And I'm gonna see if I can provide some figures for you guys when I'm looking at them. All right guys, so I'm sitting in the back of this, by the way, it's a 5-passenger Range Rover HSE. I'm just blown away by the headroom. It's insane. Like for second row, I feel like I'm sitting in the middle of a canyon with a lid on it or something. But it also feels like there isn't a lid because of the sunroof. Range Rover in 2019 was fortunate to be generous with the second row. They provided heated seats, they provided climate control, they have a USB port right here, they have a USB port right there. For the 12 volt, you have to take out this little lid thing. Maybe that's the lid for the mini Canyon that the 12 volt is gonna feel like it's in when it's sitting in the Range Rover with the headroom. And then a bunch of different icons here that indicate different areas of the vehicle that are affected by them. And this is also power adjustable. That's insane in the second row. This one does come with the Meridian sound system that you can expect, but this is beautiful. This is a really beautiful vehicle. Seriously, they nailed everything. Now I'm going to take you guys to the back and show you the trunk space, see what we're working with. By the way, another amenity that I forgot to go over was that there's a little lever sort of thing right here that if you push down on it, and there's a, I don't know what this is exactly, but if you push down on it, you have cup holders right here so that your kids can spill the soda. And there's a little button right here. If you press this button, then you're gonna see a little storage area for all your USB drives and other very small items that a lot of people probably don't need in a small storage container in a car. So there's that. What else I really like about this is that they were able to make it sort of a minimal design and store this flat, the seat belt buckle, so that no one hurts their butt on it when they're trying to get out of the car or something. All right, so here we are. Hopefully my shaky hands aren't too shaky. So the tailgate opens up, but then you look down here and you're gonna notice the tailgate has like a it has like a bottom half. And if you press this button, then it comes down. And it leaves you with sort of a flat landing strip, if you will. Underneath this handle is a big spare for all of your sparing needs. And plenty of cargo space behind the second row. There are two buttons that can take the suspension in the rear up and down, which is really cool. And then these buttons can take the second row down or up. I'm probably gonna do a bunch of editing right now, and then we're gonna take this thing for a drive once the weather's a little bit better. In the meantime, I'm gonna do a little bit more research on this vehicle so that I can tell you guys more about this specific one. I'm gonna talk to our used manager, and I'm gonna give a little bit more of a history on this exact vehicle, because like I said, unusual trim, year, and mileage combination for sure. This is like the most exhibit A example right now that I could give you on our lot by far. That's probably the biggest reason why I decided to do a video about this specific one before any other. All right, so here we are, boom, 2019 Range Rover HSE. Gonna go on the test drive right now. Take the good old Cool Whip on a drive. Now, I took this thing for a drive maybe about a week ago, and something I noticed is that at around 2 or 3K RPM, that is where you're gonna feel a pretty significant amount of torque difference. Now, regarding the torque, because an old manager of mine told me that once that people buy horsepower and drive torque. The horsepower for the 3.0 liter on this vehicle is somewhere between 340 and 380. One of the most significant things about this vehicle, though, is, I mean, again, I know I mentioned the ergonomics and the head and shoulder and leg room, but like the visibility, man, it's just there. But in an open parking lot like this, you have to put your foot on the gas a little bit more than, I don't know, at least a little bit more than I initially expected, and then you start to feel that torque, which is something that I wouldn't even say is a bad thing, but when I said British engineering at its finest, I mean, that's this engine. Something to keep in mind, folks, is that every vehicle make has their own, there are just different things that each one is gonna have that separates it from others. But this one is incredibly luxurious. It's very comfortable. The seats, the interior, the exterior, it's just beautiful. This one's very techy. I mean, they have a head-up display. They have 3 screens in just the front row. It's insane. And one of them tilts. Like, a tilting screen that you don't have to manually tilt yourself. It's power tilting. See the braking. It brakes pretty smooth as well. Now again, I did drive this maybe last week, and after 1 or 2 drives, that whole thing about the torque, it's not really even a problem. I'm pretty used to it. I can't even see what I was talking about before when I mentioned it. You know, it becomes seamless after some time. And this is coming from someone being so used to driving Lincolns in comparison to Range Rovers. But once we get back to the dealership, I'm going to look at the window sticker. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about the history of this vehicle and tell you what's so incredible and striking about it that I haven't already. Again, I mean, we just have this habit of taking in vehicles. Most of our pre-owned vehicles, again, are Lincolns. But we have this habit of taking in vehicles that aren't Lincolns that are just really rare finds. Unusual year, mileage and trim combinations. There are some vehicles that I'll look them up on Auto Trader, and I will not find a single one within, like, I don't know, maybe twice the mileage that's within 500 miles of us. It's insane. If you're interested in a new Range Rover, this video, I'm going to tell you guys why it may not be the worst idea to consider a used one. With the new vehicle market right now and demand far outstripping supply, our customers tend to save on used vehicles what they may otherwise lose on a new vehicle. And that's just something to consider. But I'm going to get the window sticker. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit more about what's so interesting about this one. All right, guys, so a little bit about this vehicle. This one was titled as a corporate car, and obviously it doesn't have a very long road life. I mean, it only has 12,952 miles, very short of 13,000 miles with HSE, which stands for high specification equipment. Everything that's included in this exact vehicle that is not standard on HSE: Vision Assist Pack, an option priced at $1785, the Smartphone Pack, the Drive Pro Pack, which is priced at $1970, All-Terrain Progress Control priced at $170, Terrain Response 2 for $155, Black Contrast Roof for $665, a heated windshield, an 825 watt Meridian sound system for $1885, a wood and leather steering wheel for $510, a 4-zone climate control system for $410, a grand black veneer finisher, a surround camera system for $815, and the wheel protection pack with the chrome locks for $219. Originally, with the shipping charge, that brings the MSRP of this vehicle base from $94,950 to $104,829. The difference between that and what we're pricing it at, $97,555, is $7,274. Imagine all the trips you can take with that much. This one is a one-owner vehicle. It's locally owned. It was never smoked in. It's in incredible condition. You would not be able to tell the difference between this and a 2021. And again, we take in really, really rare finds. Here's an example of how rare this find is. We do, of course, our research on everything. Auto Trader, Car Gurus, and KBB. With vehicles of this price and value together, I really can't stress this enough, you have to compare apples to apples. You really, really do. So if you're open to getting a vehicle that's a few years old with very, very little mileage, in excellent, like new condition, and that vehicle happens to be a Range Rover, give us a call as soon as possible at 724-941-1600. Make sure to ask for Sam. I work with referrals and people who like these videos. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, because that gives us an idea that this is the type of content that you guys like watching from us. Thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate it. Stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day.